Hey, and welcome to our interview today. And as you know, the Ole Miss, I guess you call it imaginary one-on-one tournament with all our great basketball players through the years been underway. We got Final Four weekend, and we're down to the Final Four, and it's an honor and privilege for me to be talking with our all-time leading scorer, 2,328 points. I don't want to shy you one or two there, John, but all SEC first team, all American, first round pick by the Houston Rockets. Of course, was honored as a legend at the SEC tournament in '99. And John Stroud is with us. Hey, John, how are you?
Hello, David. I'm doing great. How's everybody in Rebel Nation doing on this slow time of year now? It's terrible.
We're just all trying to hide out, aren't we?
Hide out. And you're right when you said imaginary one-on-one, because it would be totally imaginary playing some of these young guys now.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's been fun that it's gone on. But you made the Final Four, so you've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know how, because most of the Twitter voters I'm seeing weren't even born when I played. So, I'm 60. I hate to tell you my age, but I'm in just turned 60. Well, I'm your age, so very few people my age and above use Twitter. So, well, I guess enough people see my picture up on the big board in the pavilion. The only advertisement I got right now.
Yeah, you are the old school remaining player for sure. Hey, tell our fans, John, just in general, what are you? Where are you and what are you doing these days?
Well, I live in New Albany, which is 30 miles from Ole Miss, and I own my John Stroud Insurance Agency, and I've been doing that since 2003. I coached, of course, at Millsouts for several years, and I came back to New Albany and started the insurance agency, and then I got back into basketball, but coaching the high school girls team here because my daughters are playing. So I did an 8 run with the girls. So I retired from coaching in 2017, and I'm just peddling insurance now. Sales is pretty much it.
Well, and I know you've coached on multiple levels, the college level, the junior college level, and then you mentioned high school and all. Just your observations in general. I know you were a great player in this state in high school, went on, had a wonderful career at Ole Miss, but just in general, what are your observations of basketball in the state of Mississippi?
Well, it's changed a whole lot since 1976 when I left high school, and, being a little 1A player at a little 1A school, I made a big jump from West Union High School to Ole Miss. Yeah. And but basketball's changed. Realistically, people won't believe this, but basketball in SEC was very, very good in the late 70s and 80s because nobody went pro back then. And, you had the Dominique Wilkins of the world and Cal Macy's and Bernard Kings, and all those guys played 4 years. So it was like a mini NBA back in the college days during that time, and of course when I played there was no 3-point shot and no shot clock, and so it helped me and then it hurt me both because we ran of course you remember we ran a lot of deliberate offense, the right shot, right time. Everybody had a role to play, and my role was scoring, and I was just blessed by being a great shooter and a scorer. And so, 3-point shot would have been in there. I don't know how many more points I would have scored, but it would have really opened up things inside for me because, at 6'7", I was the biggest starter at Ole Miss on our team. And and then the shot clock would have sped things up also because many times during the game, we'd run a minute off the clock before we take the best shot. So that's changed a whole lot. Now, since 2000, here last 20 years, the NBA, everybody's at one and done now. They try to go get their money fast. And the game has changed a whole lot. Even when I coaching the last few years, you had to worry about the 3-point shot. You had to worry about defending players out on the floor more, and kids now are tied into social media and internet and TV, and they try to be like Mike. And so basketball is totally different in the last 40 years.
Yeah, no doubt. It is amazing, though, and I tell people this about you all the time because we were basically the same age and graduated high school pretty much within a 2-year period. But I said, John Stroud scored all those points and they didn't get to shoot a three, And plus it was, you look at the team scores in that stretch. I think we gave away prizes if the team scored 60 or,
Yeah.
held opponent under 60. We about put a couple of restaurants out of business back in those good old days.
Of course, my last game of sophomore season, Danvers was running. If you hold the team under 60 points, you get a free meal, and we helped Mississippi State to 59 that night, which was the last game of the season, and the ticket said until the next game. So people went all spring and summer, eating on Danvers. So it was.
We put them out of business. They left Oxford. They were. I love Danvers. Like every time I go to a Danvers, they're good for sure. Hey, you stayed close to the program. Obviously, I know that because I see you there all the time. You've gotten in. You've helped me with radio a few games. You've done the live stream stuff as well. But I know that you're closer than that. You've gone to a ton of games. You've also been to a lot of practices and different events and all. But being from Mississippi and close by, I know that since you kind of got out of coaching, you've been able to do that a little bit more, haven't you?
Yes. And, of course, I'm a big believer in Kermit Davis. I think, he reminds me so much of Coach Weltlick when I played under Coach Weltlick. They're both disciplined coaches. They both stress defense, good shot selection. And, Kermit had a down year this year, but, he's such a winner that they're going to be back quickly. He just got to get the right players to fit his system. And, I'm really excited about Ole Miss basketball. I think we're headed in the right direction.
Okay, so we got this one-on-one tournament. I was looking at the bracket, and you just blew through your bracket. No big deal. And I said, yeah, Stroud's going to win until we get to the young folks that don't know who he is.
That's right.
You got through the bracket, but you're up against Stephon Moody, who's on your side of the Final Four. Then you got Marshall Henderson and Chris Warren on the other side. I don't think these young bucks know what John Stroud can do to them, right?
Probably not, but I didn't. I just didn't impress people. The way they look at me. I was 6'7", about 215, and they said I couldn't jump, and I was a little slow. But I could shoot it, and I could score it. I think I was looking back. I think I shot like 58, 57% my junior and senior year from the field, which is kind of unheard of nowadays.
Right.
So I had a knack for scoring. Looking at the numbers that I put up, and but those young bucks, those other three guys are still in it. They're dynamic scorers, very gifted offensive players, long range. Can score quickly, and but you can't predict how it would go if I was still playing. But we play for 4 years. 40 minutes a game, we played man-to-man defense. Zone defense was not heard of when I played. So the guarding probably wouldn't be as big a problem as some people think because we played man-to-man. I guarded Elston Turner and Carlos Clark every day in one-on-one. So, you just can't. You don't know. I score a lot of baskets away from the ball. I ran off screens and moved without the ball real well and had a quick shot. And, and those guys are still left or like to have the ball in their hands. So it's different. The old crowd. I'm surprised that, I don't think people remember how good Gerald Glass was.
Right.
Joe Harvey was.
Yeah.
Those two stick out. Because they're 1990s players. Then you had Cisse coming there also. So those are three very gifted players. And, of course, I was about 10 years old when I saw the great Johnny Newman play one time in the Tad Pad. And he averaged 40 a game for the season. So if you got one-on-one, you would think Johnny Newman would be the best one-on-one player ever come through Ole Miss because he was 6'6" shooter from the perimeter.
Always get his shot off. There's no way to stop him from doing that. He'd always get his shot off. So did you play one-on-one as a kid? Did you play one-on-one when you were a little boy?
Yeah, we backyard basketball in Union County. Get out of school at 3 o'clock, and we play basketball all afternoon till dark. And of course, West Union, we were a big, slow team. I was 6'7". We had two other guys 6'5" for 1A school, so we played just the old-fashioned 2-3 zone. So when I had to get to Ole Miss, directly man-to-man. But But it was some good memories, and I'm just glad to be still remembered by the Ole Miss faithful out there, and we'll just see what happens. And but all four of us are electric players and score points. I just scored mine different ways with over the course of 4 years. I don't know what Warren was. He 4 years.
Yeah.
The other two were just
Stephon, 2 years. Yeah. And Chris Warren, I had a chance to visit with Chris already. He was a great player. The weird thing is they all have never seen you play, but you've seen all of them play in some given point.
No, there's very few videos. I have several reel-to-reel tapes of me still playing, projector on and watch. So about 1980, 81 is, when the ESPN came along and everything started, videos and getting more. So none of those even remember me. I haven't met any of those guys either. So, but
well, it should be fun. Hey, I want to encourage all the folks our age and older. They're on Twitter. There's about 30 of you, but be sure you vote for John Stroud, right?
Few fans with my daughters in their 20s, and they got
that'll help. Yeah,
that's probably where I got a lot of help in the past few games, but it is what it is. I'm just excited to be still involved in something like this.
Hey, it's great. Hey, good to talk to you, my man, and looking forward to it. When this coronavirus stuff gets over, I know you'll be back over here on campus hanging out with us. Good to see you, though.
Thank you, David.
Good luck with Moody.